if the embryo needs to come out, it has to go for hatching, right? Before hatching, there's a step called cavitation. Blastocyst or blastula is one and the same. In the blastula, from marula to blastula, first thing that should happen is cavitation. What is cavitation? After the 32 cell stage, after 16, 8 to 16, the next stage is 32. After this, what will happen? There's a uterine milk. Do you remember uterine milk? Everybody remember uterine milk, which is produced by the under the influence of progesterone hormone. I told you that it become a glandular, highly vascular. It releases uterine milk, the endometrium. Yes, and I'm sharing the first slide. So what will happen is this uterine milk now the from the marula the blastula is coming into the uterus. The uterus in the uterine milk try to seeps inside, making a cavity. Seeps into the blastocyst, making a cavity called blastocoele. Did you understand what is cavitation? Forming a cavity. So the everybody understood what is cavitation? Okay. After that, there is a process called hatching. Hatching, matlab, hatching means what? Hatching means how the from the egg, how the embryo hatch, something like that. So it occurs 60 to 40, 128 cell stage by the fifth day. At this stage, zona pellucida, what will happen to zona pellucida? It ruptures. So you have your ball of cells here, the cavitation formed. So now this zona pellucida ruptures. Once the zona pellucida ruptures, what comes out? This cells comes out. 128 cell stage comes out with a cavitation. This happens because of trophoblastic enzyme. After the zona pellucida leads to hatching of the blastocyst, and there will be a phagocytic cells of trophoblast. As the zona pellucida rupture, the outer cells now is called as trophoblast cells. The outer cells are now called as trophoblast cells. This cells releases an enzyme that digests the zona pellucida, and this 64 to 128 cells comes out in the uterus. And this trophoblast cells shows the phagocytic nature. They have phagocytic nature also, and they also produce enzyme that is phagocytic trophoblastic enzymes. Clear? Phago, no. Zona pellucida rupture due to the trophoblastic enzymes produced. Whereas the I'll let you know why phagocytic cells are important. The enzymes produced by the trophoblast helps to digest the zona pellucida and the hatching happens. Hatching, I hope everybody knows. As they come out, they also act like a phagocytic cells of, and there will be a phagocytic cells of trophoblast also. Sanjana, listen what it says. Sanika, it says that zona pellucida, which is a red in color, it need to come out. How? Where? You do not have to know, Sanjana. It's only the trophoblastic enzyme produced by trophoblastic cells. What are trophoblastic cells? The cells of 60 to 148 cells. This cells, the outer layer of this cell is called trophoblast cells. These cells, and they produces an enzyme that digests the zona pellucida, which help in hatching. That's it. By breaking the zona pellucida, the cells are hatched. Did everybody understood this? And these trophoblast cells also have a property which is known as phagocytic cells. You know what is phagocytosis. By now, you should know what is the term phagocytosis is. But corona radiata is a cellular form. There is no corona radiata that is digested by hyaluronic acid because many of the sperms are trying to attack. They attack from all around the egg. Corona radiata is digested. Only once the one of the sperm that reaches to zona pellucida, there only fertilization cone appears. Clear? Yes? Yeah? The hatching is due to what? The hatching is due to the enzyme trophoblastic enzyme. I have written clearly here. This happened because of trophoblastic enzyme. Sanika, read the sentence. This happens due to trophoblastic enzymes. Any more doubts with this slide? Madhura, are you clear with your doubts? Rishikesh, Varun, Kaushik, any doubts? Now, what will happen to this? The cells in the blastocyst are arranged in the cells in the blastocyst. Okay, we are talking about this stage, 64 to 128 cells. They are arranged in the two form. Okay, one is the outer trophoblast cells, and inner cell mass. The cells, that is 120 cells, are arranged in the inner cell mass, outer trophoblasts, which help in the digestion of zona pellucida. And what is this cavity called as now? What is this cavity called as, which is filled with fluid? This cavity is called blastocell. Right. Now, why do you think the zona pellucida rupture in, do not rupture in fallopian tube, but get ruptured in uterus? Who can answer this? Very good. It need to be embedded in the uterus or need to be embedded, need to implantation, right, Sakshi? Very nice. So it's for the implantation. What will happen if it get break off in the fallopian tube? What will happen if it zona pellucida break off in the fallopian tube? If zona pellucida break up in the fallopian tube, it will get implant in the fallopian, which is not a site for the implantation. It leads to ectopy pregnancy. So what do you understand? Like zona pellucida cannot rupture into the fallopian tube because fallopian tube is very narrow. It is not a place for the implantation. So the marula comes into the uterus, there's a sweeping of the milk happen. Then there is an enzyme that is released to lead to a rupture. After it ruptures, the trophoblasts, which are the phagocytes in nature, help in the attachment of this to the uterine endometrium. Did you understood this sentence? Help in the attachment to endometrium. This process is called implantation, and this leads to pregnancy. Did you understood the function of trophoblast? One is for the attachment, phagocytes, and release of enzyme. The inner cell mass get differentiated into embryo. Now, whatever this inner cell mass is there, this helps after the implantation, helps in formation of embryo. Any doubts? Blastula, marula के बाद में है blastula. So blastula is after marula. Why does it going to stay in fallopian tube? It goes further after ampullary isthmic junction, and after the fertilization, it forms zygote, and then it forms two cell division, three cell, four cell division, and then come to a marula stage. Until marula stage, this everything is happening in the fallopian tube. Later, it comes into a uterus where the uterine milk is there, and from there it try to from fallopian tube till it comes to the uterus. There is a milk glandular. Endometrium is highly vascular and glandular. That milk which is there try to get sweeps into the yeah, blastula. As it gets sweeps into blastula, it form a blastocyst. Then the zona trophoblastic cells of blastula secretes an enzyme that digests the zona pellucida, and it gets hatches. After it gets hatches, it at the fifth day, what happens after it gets hatches? This leads to the trophoblast cells try to engulf, get attached into the endometrium, and forms an implantation, and this leads to a pregnancy. Yes, very simple. You're still having a confusion here. Fallopian tube में है ही नहीं blastula. After marula, you are getting the marula is coming into a blastula stage, which is in the uterus. Arya, is it clear? Rishikesh, Varad, clear? Now, implantation and nidation. What do you understand by implantation and nidation? Is it same term which is used? Implantation or nidation is one and the same. Day 6 end or day 7. Zona pellucida prevent the implantation of the embryo. Note. If zona pellucida rupture premature, it will result in ectopy pregnancy. What is ectopy pregnancy? Which is mostly pregnancy or the implantation happening other than the uterus is called ectopy pregnancy. When it happens, it's a mostly common is tubal pregnancy, which happen in fallopian tube. Agar implantation fallopian tube में हो गया, that is called as tubal pregnancy, which is a form of ectopy pregnancy. Please write down. Okay, done. Any doubts? Yes, it's similar to a miscarriage. That leads to miscarriage. Right. Any other doubts? Everybody understood what is implantation, what is nidation? Can we move to the next? Yes. Can you see this diagram here? Please go through all the stages from here. Everyone. Day 1, day 2, day 3, 4, day 5, day 6, 7, day 8. Everybody go through the stages. Okay. Can you see early blastocyst, zona pellucid rupture, late blastocyst. After that, there's an implantation of the blastocyst. Can you see the implantation happening here? We'll talk about epiblast, hypoblast, everything. You do not have to worry about that. Just try to understand here. You need to understand the cell ovulation happens. There is 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage. Then there is a marula. After that, there is a blastula stage. Okay. Next. Now, trophoblast of human chorionic um, gonadotrophic hormones. Trophoblast releases this HCG hormone. Release HCG hormone from 8th day of onwards till the 12th week of pregnancy. That is first trimester. Have you heard about HCG hormone? This is very high during the first trimester. Whenever a female want to go for the check for the whether the female is pregnant or not, from the day 8 to the 12th week of pregnancy, this hormone is high. Prega News, if you have heard, they go for the checking of this hormone. HCG act like LH and maintain the corpus luteum for the first 3 months of pregnancy. Very important. You know that corpus luteum need to be maintained for the pregnancy. The high level of progesterone is important so that you can maintain the endometrium. So first 3 months of pregnancy, HCG act like a LH. LH is a luteinizing hormone during which there is a high level of progesterone, and similarly it helps in the maintaining of corpus luteum for the first 3 months of pregnancy. This hormone rescues the dying of corpus luteum. Cl is, you know, corpus luteum. So during the first trimester, HCG level is very high. From where it is coming? It is coming from the trophoblast cells. And what is the function? To prevent the rescue of dying of Cl. Done? Any doubts? Are you done writing this? Can you move to the next? What is Cl? See, come here. What is Cl? Corpus luteum. Heard about corpus luteum, Janil? Heard about corpus luteum? That is what a Cl. What does corpus luteum secretes? Tell me. What does corpus luteum secretes? Quick. Shruti, any doubts? Lisa, Padma, Daryl, Leila, any doubts? Janil need to answer what is corpus luteum secretes. It secretes progesterone. Good, Madhura. It secretes progesterone, and that is required. It's a pregnancy hormone that need to be maintained for the endometrium. Right? Okay. Next, we are moving to the next slide here. Increased progesterone leads to amenorrhea. Increase of progesterone leads to amenorrhea, which is means there is no. Yes, everything is released in the bloodstream. Hormones are released in the bloodstream, and they are targeted towards the respective organ. Receptors present on the organ. No menaces. Increased progesterone leads to amenorrhea. What is amenorrhea? We have studied. I'll tell you. Just wait. How it is tested. Increase of progesterone lead to amenorrhea, which is mean no menaces. So when a female skips its menaces, what they do, if there is no menaces, the first thing they go for the couple. Okay, the female who's married, once they miss the menaces, they go for pregnancy test, which is called as a gravidex test, which is called as a gravidex test. So now what will happen? There will be a strip. There will be a strip into which there is a antibodies attached for that, and for the receptors attached for the HCG. If you have a positive control, you have a negative control. This is negative control and this is positive control. So whenever a pregnant woman or the who's expecting put a drop of urine into this well, this urine get absorbed. If this urine contain HCG, you get two bands. One is positive band and one is negative band. Then the pregnancy is positive. The female is positive. If the urine contains just one band, that is negative band, there is no positive band, then it is said to be the female is not for the reason is not due to the pregnancy. There might be any other reason for skipping the menses. This hormone is also responsible for the behavioral and the physiological changes in the pregnant woman. So if you have noticed, the pregnant woman for 1 to 3 months have mood swings, nausea, dizziness, food choices. This is all due to the hormone which is called as HCG, which is coming from the trophoblastic cells. Done, everyone? Such as mood swing, nausea, dizziness, food choices. This all comes under. Uh, Mhm. 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 Done? Any doubts? Are you able to understand the concepts? Next. Before we move. Okay. Please draw this. Day 8 to day 14 में क्या होता है? Draw this. As I said, on the day 7 to day 14 or day 8 to day 17, 14, what is going to happen? As I said, there is an outer trophoblast layer. In the trophoblast, the trophoblasts get differentiated into two forms, syncytial trophoblast and cytotrophoblast. Syncytial is a multinucleated, it's a fused form, fused cells form, okay, and there's a cytotrophoblast. The inner you have inner cell mass, which is embryonal disc mass. Also it is called as embryonal disc mass. It's a stage of blastula. What happened to the blastula on these days? The trophoblast, as I said, it is help in the release of enzyme, help in the phagocytics, helps in the release of hormone also. Which hormone? SAG hormone. And also it helps in the implantation. So this trophoblast differentiate into syncytial trophoblast and cytotrophoblast, and this inner cell mass, or it is also called as embryonal disc, which give rise to different cells of the embryo. It give rise to different cells in the embryo. Done writing? Zachary, any doubts? Gaurav, are you there? See, if you do not understand, please do let me know. It's a continuous process. You cannot skip. Are you done? Can we move to the next, everyone? It's a continuous process. We cannot skip. Next. Now what will happen? Listen to this. After that, first step is cavitation, right? So you know that syncytium, now this inner cell mass will arrange itself into two layers. One is epiblast, other is hypoblast. The inner cell mass arrange itself into epiblast and other is hypoblast, right? After that, there is a process which is called as cavitation happening. There is a has if you draw this, the epiblast layers sink. The epiblast layers sink. Some of the epiblast layers sink, forming an amniotic cavity. Hypoblast layers sink, forming a primary yolk sac. Need to remember that the inner cell mass get differentiated into epiblast and hypoblast cells. The epiblast cells shrink, forming a cavity called amniotic cavity, and the hypoblast cells shrink, forming a cavity called primary yolk sac. Any doubts? Done, everybody? Okay. Any doubts? Come on, quickly tell me. Did you understood how epi and hypoblast get differentiate? Ma'am, could you please repeat what you said just now? I said the inner cell mass Sanika, listen. The inner cell mass get differentiated into epiblast and hypoblast. Done. After that, there is a process of sinking of epiblast. When epiblast sink, if you see the green one, epiblast is sinking, forming a cavity. Which is a cavity? That cavity is called amniotic cavity. The next one is hypoblast sink here. Some of the hypoplastic cells sink, forming a cavity. Which is a cavity? That cavity is called primary yolk sac. Any doubts to anyone? Sanjana, any doubts? Bye. Everybody got the point? Next. Now what will happen? What is the next step that is happening? Next step is, see, you need to draw this, and then I'll explain you. Labeling, you can do it later, but just draw it as it is. Labeling, you can do it later. I'll help you out with the labeling. Just draw this. See the color, please write the similar colors there. Done? Okay. Everybody listen. Now what will happen is, this is the trophoblast. The outer one is a trophoblast. The inner green one is what? Is a epiblast, epiblast containing a cavity which is called amniotic cavity. The lower one is called what? A yolk sac with a formed by the hypoblast, right? Now, whatever the inner cells, these inner cells are getting themselves arranged. So all over is a extra embryonic mesodermal cells. All over is extra embryonic mesodermal cells. These all are extra embryonic mesodermal cells. What will happen is, this extra embryonic mesodermal cells in the later stage will try to arrange themselves around this. Let me show you. These two will come together. Now this extra embryonic mesodermal cells try to arrange one thing, they arrange themselves around this, both the cavities. Then they go and try to arrange near the cytotrophoblast. The syncytial trophoblast has shown the implantation, they help in the implantation. So the trophoblast, that is, it try to arrange near the cytotrophoblast, and few will form the stalks connecting link. Few will form the connecting link. So that is connecting stalk. So you have this green one is extra embryonic mesoderm. So now there's a formation of amnion, chorion, allantois. There's a formation of amnion, chorion and allantois. How is this amnion membrane? These are the membranes. How is this amnion membrane formed? This amnion membrane is formed how? By amnion membrane is formed by EM, extra embryonic plus epiblast plus epiblast. If you see here, this part, can you see amnion which I have drawn? We see this circle. It's containing of both epiblast and the EEM, which is surrounding the epiblast, together form the amnion membrane. Clear? What is a chorion? How is chorion is formed? Chorion is formed by EEM plus trophoblast. Which trophoblast? Cytotrophoblast. How is this allantois is formed? Allantois is formed by hypo-EEM plus hypoblast. This is how the membranes are formed. Did you understood this? Please go through it. Anybody with doubts? Have you understood this? Everyone in the class? Come on, tell me quickly if you have understood. If you have not understood, ma'am, that each cell is amnion. Each cell. Amnion membrane, amniotic membrane. We're not talking about any cell here. Amnion is a membrane. How it is formed? It is formed by the combination of extra embryonic cell and epiblast cells. How chorion is formed? By the combination of extra embryonic cell and cytotrophoblast cells. How allantois membrane is formed? Allantois and yolk sac. How they are formed? With the help of extra embryonic cell plus membrane plus hypoblast cells. Clear, Sanika? Yash, clear. Rishikesh, Varad, Vardhan, Kaushik, any doubts? Madhura, any doubts? So you need to imagine this. Your embryo from a ball of cells, you need to differentiate the cells and you're forming the whole organ, whole body is formed. So how is happening? That you need to imagine. Okay, because we are a very complex organism. I hope you have done with the writing. So extra embryonic membrane, the first one is chorion membrane. How it is formed? We have written. Amnion, how it is formed? Please write down. Yolk sac. Extra embryonic mesoderm plus endoderm in the birds and reptiles filled with yolk. It plays an important role in formation in, see, mostly yolk sac is very highly in reptiles and birds. In human, if you know that male and female germ cells, I always say the extra embryonic, they're coming from the extra embryonic yolk sac. Remember, male and female gametes, when we discuss, they travel all the way the 5th month of pregnancy into the gonad, right? So this is the point. Allantois is extra embryonic membrane plus endoderm. Endoderm here means hypoblast. Endoderm means hypoblast. We need to discuss how is this 3 germ layers forming. Epiblast is ectoderm. Because from this 3 germ layers only the different organ systems develop. So we are studying how is this germ layers are forming. So basically epiblast means ectoderm, hypoblast means endoderm. Remember, so you have your ectoderm, you have your endoderm, you have extra embryonic mesoderm. Then male and female germ cells are coming from the yolk sac, and then they get into a gonad's later stage of the pregnancy. Please write down this. Nothing much. It's same thing what you have written in the diagram. Tej, are you there in the class? Done. Let's move to the next.
Ma'am, please wait for a minute.
Okay, right now.
Yes, ma'am, done.
Done. Okay. Just a minute. We'll write down what exactly the function is of chorion. Chorion we have written. One is for the protection. Chorion membrane is for protection to embryo. Second is help in formation of placenta. Second, amnion help in a fluid amnion. It forms an amniotic cavity with the amniotic fluid. Forms amniotic cavity filled with Padma. Are you there? Amniotic fluid. A fluid prevent embryo from desiccation. So, a fluid prevent embryo from desiccation. And act as shock absorber for the protection. Third, yolk sac. One function you know is formation of germ cells. Formation of germ cells. Both male and female. The second function, anybody? It plays. Anybody want to add up? Plays a role in Hematopoietic, formation of blood cells. Initially, the cells are formed with where they are formed in the yolk sac. Very small amount of yolk sac is present in the. It's not like as in case of birds and reptiles, but still it plays a role in formation of blood cells and formation of germ cells. Later it disappears. Next, fourth one, allantois. It helps in the formation of umbilical blood vessels. Everybody know umbilical cord? Wharton's jelly of umbilical cord. So at the navel, what happened when the connection is cut between mother and the fetus is to the umbilical cord. So when they cut, there is a kind of a jelly at the navel area at the when the connection is cut. That jelly try to as the days goes, it shrinks, right? That jelly is called Watson's jelly of umbilical cord. Did you understood? Anyone with any doubts? Very good formation of. Ma'am, please explain yolk sac. Yolk sac is the layer which helps in the formation of germ cells, male and female gametes cells. Later, this gamete cells migrate in the fifth week of pregnancy into gonads. So, their gamete cells or the germ cells are extra embryonic in origin. Next, it plays an important role in formation of blood cells in the early stages of the embryo. Is it clear, Tej? Are you all done writing this? Have you understood the function of this extra embryonic?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, could you please explain again about the function of allantosis?
Allantosis helps in the formation of umbilical cord. Umbilical cord is a connection of the what is this? So white part in the egg is the amniotic fluid. No. White part in the egg. Which egg you're talking about? In the embryo. No, Madhura, that's wrong. We're talking about the embryo. We're not talking about the hens here. Please. You know that the baby is surrounded by the amniotic fluid surrounding. The baby is floating condition, right? The water break, if you have heard in the pregnant woman, so baby is in the floating condition, which is in the amniotic fluid. Okay, that is one is for the protection, other is for the shock absorber, so that the baby is not get like it doesn't get hurt if it come across any kind of hard substance. So the baby is in the floating condition, it keeps moving in this amniotic fluid. And allantois is umbilical cord is a connection between the mother and the fetus mm, uh, where you remove that baby when they cut the baby from it's cut to the umbilical cord, and that umbilical cord is a navel, right? That navel, if you've seen small babies, it start to shrink. That shrinking has a Wharton's jelly. That is a Wharton's jelly, which is help in the shrinking of that navel, and then that is the helpful in the formation of umbilical blood vessels also. Sanika, clear? Do not take that cytoplasm of hen's egg with the here, okay, Madhura? That is different. So if you see in this diagram, can you see the umbilical cord here? How means I didn't get your point. How amnion? Amnion is made up of is EEM, not only EEM but also epiblast. Yes, that's a combination of cells that give rise to amnion. Because outer EM, which outer you're talking about? No, it is not taken as outer EM. It has taken the inner EM, which is surrounding the, because it has to be combination with epiblast. Epiblast is endoderm, so it has to be combination with epiblast. So the immediate next layer is EM surrounding the epiblast. Then it will be cytotrophoblast and EM, which will give to another combination. Yeah, it's a inner. It's a inner. Inner. In the slide, okay. Then chorion is tryphoblast and outer. It's a inner. Please make a note. And this is again inner. Clear, Madhura and Yash? Next. So you have an umbilical cord which is carrying a blood vessels. Can you see the umbilical cord? Yolk sac, amnion, chorion, embryo, allantois. Allantois. Here, this is a fetal part, or is a maternal part of placenta, and the blood vessels which are coming is the fetal part of placenta. But there is no mixing of mothers and fetal blood. Remember, mother and fetus blood do not mix. The only exchange happens between this tissue. The exchange of materials takes place between the tissue, but there is no mixing. With the help of diffusion, the exchange of materials, oxygen happens through the help of diffusion. So you have embryo, chorion, amnion, yolk sac. Then there is allantois, umbilical cord, carry the blood vessels. The question is, umbilical cord carries 100% fetal blood. Is right or wrong? The question here is, umbilical cord carries 100% fetal blood. Is it right or wrong? Very good, Yash. It's a Madhura, very good. It's a right, because it is not carrying a blood of mother. Blood, the tissue of the mother is here in this part, which is helping the diffusion between the blood cells, blood vessels of mother and the bloods of fetal. But if this everything, if you see, it's carrying the umbilical cord only carries the blood of fetal. Is it clear? From the exchange of oxygen, hojai, nutrition, food, whatever, it has to go through this fetal blood only, which is carried by umbilical cord. Point is clear? Yes, just fetal blood vessels, which is carrying the nutrients, removing the waste. You have veins, vessels, arteries that carries oxygen, nutrients, removes the waste. So through the diffusion process with the mother's blood. Umbilical cord carries only 100% fetal blood. Next, you do not have to draw. The next stage we are coming is, yeah, that dies. See, there are chances when during the time of delivery, there might be a chances that there might be a mixing of the blood happens. Are you understanding, Madhura? It's not in all cases. Whenever there is a C-section or whenever there is an mixing can takes place between the mother, a few drops of blood cells entering into the mother will also create a causing the antibodies there. Okay. The next step after gastrula, after marula, after blastula, we are going to a stage called gastrula. A stage called gastrula. हो गया, marula हो गया. Then there is a stage of blastula हो गया. Now we are getting into one more stage that is called gastrula. Gastrula is a region where you form endoderm, mesoderm, ectoderm. Until now we used to call them epiblast, hypoblast, or extra mesodermal cells. In the blastula process we call them as epiblast, hypoblast. Now we call them as endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. Let us study how they form. Write down this. Every time we study three germ layers, three germ layers. So three germ layers are formed by the process of gastrulation. On the day 15th, a streak appears on the dorsal surface of epiblast. So now the blue one is epiblast. Okay. The below one is hypoblast. You can see epiblast and hypoblast. Now what will happen at the beginning of the 15th day, a streak develops. Streak is a groove which appears on the dorsal surface of the epiblast. You need to imagine, and this marks the beginning of gastrulation. Beginning of gastrulation matlab formation of cells. Which type of cells? Three germ layers of cells. What does this primitive streaks decides? It decides the embryon bilateral symmetry. Primitive streaks decides bilateral symmetry. Are the human bilateral symmetry? Are human bilateral symmetry? Hmm? Are human bilateral symmetry? What? Yes. No? Why no, yes? Humans are not bilateral symmetry. If you take right and left, divide your body from the central axis, when you bring them together, you get right side and left side, right? You cannot keep right towards left and left towards right. Can you keep when you divide your axis, center axis, can you keep your body towards, which is the right towards the left and the left towards the right? No. So humans are bilateral symmetry. So this primitive streak is the one that decides the bilateral symmetry. Is this point clear? No, that is not considered. We are talking about the symmetry. When we are talking in the animal kingdom, we are not talking about the inside organs there. We studied animal kingdom with the symmetry, radial symmetry, bilateral symmetry. Do you remember? So we didn't discuss about the internal organs, how they are placed. Okay, next. So what is gastrulation? Write down, everyone. Gastrulation is a dynamic process require lots of energy, and it is a morphogenetic movement of cells, and it is morphogenetic. We'll discuss what is movement of cells. Varun, any doubts? Kaushik, Faye?
Ma'am, it requires.
Lots of energy, and it is a morphogenetic movement of cells. Does everybody understood the stage of gastrula, marula and blastula clearly? See, for the upcoming test, there might be a mixing between the male and female reproductive system. Read the content to the test syllabus given. Okay, I hope I have finished all the portion that is given in the test syllabus. So read those content. Okay, subtopics which I've given, read from there. Clear? Any doubts? Gastrulation in detail we'll study in the next class. I think that will be on Saturday, right? Clear, everybody? So thanks for your time. No. Not only epiblast is involved, there are many more things that is involved. We'll discuss that part later. Okay? We need to discuss the full process. This is just an intro towards the gastrulation. What is gastrulation? It's a dynamic movement of cells. Which cells are involved, how the three germ layers are formed, everything will be discussed. Until now, we just know epiblast and hypoblast and extraembryonic mesoderm. We don't know their name. Okay. How endoderm, ectoderm, mesoderm is formed, that we'll discuss next class. How epiblast, hypoblast contribute to
Excuse
the
me, ma'am.
formation, we'll study later. Ma'am, can you repeat the bilateral symmetry part? See, the bilateral, when a axis is passing through the center of the body, we have right side and the left side, right? That symmetry is called. Have you ever thought, like, when the central axis, when you pass through our center, nose, eyes, like, that is the giving you a right and the left part. That part is called bilateral symmetry. We have studied this in animal kingdom. Please go through it. How it is related to the gastrulation, the formation of streak, Madhura. The formation of streak help you to help the axis embryonal to form an embryonal axis. This is helping you with the bilateral symmetry. Is it clear, Madhura? We'll talk about the streak, why the streak appearance was important, how it helps in the formation of three germ layers. Everything we'll discuss. What is BP? BP is BP or BS? That is BS. PS, that is PS. Not PB, it's a PS. Primitive stick. Yes. What is that? Ma'am, could you please tell me what is written after dorsal surface of epiblast? And this marks the beginning of gastrulation. And this marks the beginning of gastrulation. Tanika. Others, any more doubts? Have you understood? Okay. So see you all in the next class. Bye bye. Take care. And happy Eid to all. You're welcome. Bye.